This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Luke and as we enter the final quarter of the NHL season, the Edmonton Oilers and Montreal Canadiens represent the only two Canadian teams currently in a playoff position, with the Ottawa Senators knocking on that door as well. While many expected the Habs to mostly sit tight during the deadline, which they did, a lot of people were surprised that the Oilers did not address their forever issue in the crease. While the Oil did strike a deal that sent Stuart Skinner away and brought in Tristan Jarry in December, the results have largely been the same. In fact, Jarry's numbers have actually been statistically worse than Skinner's were before the deal, and are similarly worse than the other two goalies that have started games for the Oilers. And it's been 1 month since Oilers superstar Leon Draisaitl said this.
We got to defend better. We got to make it easier on him, and then I'm sure he can be a little bit better too. It's a two-way street, but it starts with us in front of him, and then the game becomes a little bit easier for him. But I think there's saves that our goalies need to make at some point.
It's never good to go into the playoffs feeling like you have the worst goaltending in the league, so why didn't you do anything, Edmonton? And in the 6 games since that candid moment, the Oilers have given up 24 goals in 6 games. Luckily, they've been able to score 29 in that span, which highlights the entire story of the Oilers this year and probably in the entirety of the McDavid era. Lots of goals for, lots of goals against, which incredibly is averaged out to a very average +9 goal differential. Will their goaltending woes waste yet another year of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl's prime? We know one guy that is certainly concerned about that.
This is the biggest story of the whole McDavid and Draisaitl era, is that they have not had a goalie that could take them to where they fully need to be and feel confident in. They cannot possibly go into this playoffs and be like, oh yeah, like we're just going to trust Jarry and Ingram. Like, I'm sorry, like it is it's crazy.
He's not wrong. I think it's so much more also than just like not figuring out the goaltending, because I also think it's structurally like just players they've given contracts to and the guys they've decided to retain and go after and trade assets, valuable assets for. It's just, it seems like they're like, we've got McDavid and Draisaitl, let's make this as hard as possible on them because they've shown they can bring us to the cup. That's not how to do it. The crease conversation will be front and center tonight as they square off against my high-octane Avalanche, who are the only team that scored more goals than the Oilers this season, leading the league with an average of 3.84 goals per game. So expect that red light to be on a ton tonight. To the association, and if you are not paying attention to what SGA is doing, yeah, you're gonna have to start paying attention, because the best basketball player in the world, reigning MVP, reigning champion, is Canadian. And after what we saw last night, I think he's gonna win MVP again. We'll get to that Wilt record in a second, but first, some more fun facts. Only 2 players in NBA history have had 35 points, 15 dimes, and no turnovers in a game since 77-78. Those 2 players are LeBron in 2018 and Shea last night. Just let that sink in for a second. He's also on pace to be the first player since MJ in 93 to have 4 straight 30-point-per-game seasons. And just look at some of those other names on that list. In like 15 seconds, I just compared Shea to Braun, Jordan, Curry, and Wilt. This is probably the greatest Canadian achievement in sports in my lifetime, probably. Like, I genuinely think that. This is probably what it felt like watching Gretzky in his prime, and that's just a different sport. This is a sport that we're not supposed to be good at. But it was the style in which Shea won the game last night, that step back. And in case that looked familiar, let's look at Shea and how he won the last 4 games for the Thunder.
They've got a lot of guys that can knock down shots, but you've got to force that to happen. 3-pointer! Sidestep 3. SGA, stop, pop, splash! SGA with 5. SGA, step back 3. He's got it!
What's crazy too is like, there are 2 that go to the left, and then there's 2 that he's stepping back to the right. So it's not just like he's stepping back the same side all 4 times. It's 2 and 2. Unbelievable. And after hitting that dagger last night, his post-game sound was almost as cold-blooded as the shot itself.
I have answers to the test, but like, I got to see the questions first. So once I seen he was on my left and I was going right, I think it was Christian Braun that was in the gap. So I knew I probably was like, if I drove to shoot a midi, it's probably gonna be a contested with 2 guys. So I tried to separate from the 3 and get a good, comfortable shot, and it went down.
That's so cool. he's so swag, man. He's so swag. Now let's get to that record, one that many thought would never be broken. As last night, Shea tied Wilt for most consecutive games scoring 20 points or more. An absolutely unreal stretch, which really shows how consistent he is. And it's kind of the secret sauce to his greatness. And last night surely cemented his MVP status, as he was minus 400 entering the night on FanDuel, and after it dropped went to minus 800. Truly an MVP moment for SGA. Time now for my favorite segment and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
Something that is truly near and dear to my heart in sports is mascots competing. And I'll stop any time to watch when it happens. I don't even know how they're able to like see what they're looking at. There's not a lot of vision, not a lot of peripherals in the masks, I imagine. I've never been in one before. That's kind of a dream of mine, but impressive. Now joined by our gambling guy, Wes Chang. Great to see you, Wes.
Hey, great to see you, Luca.
Okay, Wes, we'll get to the Raptors in a second. But the story in the NBA right now is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We talked about the MVP movement earlier in the show, but is there any future bet with Shai that we can hop on and ride this hysteria, or have we missed the boat on everything?
I tell you to double down on Shai to win Clutch Player of the Year, which he's now the favorite for. While there's no real historical formula for how this award's been voted on, watershed moments like the one that he had against Jokic last night are exactly what lives in the memory banks of those who end up deciding on awards like this. And then quantitatively, he's also checking all the boxes. He's the leader in total clutch points. He has the best individual net rating. OKC has like the second best record in clutch time. Considering they also have the fourth toughest remaining strength of schedule and all the injuries that they have, Shai very likely is going to be called upon even more to close the season.
Okay, let's talk some Raps. The mini slide ended with Sunday's win over the Mavs, but this is a team that stinks against the NBA's best. They're up against one of those teams tonight in Houston. How you feeling about the Raps?
Listen, there's no denying their track record against the league's best. That absolutely has been a challenge. But up against this version of the Rockets, I think the Raptors have a chance to catch them while they're down. They've been historically a very strong defense, but since the All-Star break, they've actually fallen back to league average. And then offensively, they just haven't been as cohesive as they have been prior to the break. What it comes down to for me, though, Pirtle's questionable at the time of taping. If he is going to play in this game, he ends up being probable. I would highly consider the money line in this spot, ultimately depending on the price.
Okay, Wes, give us your best bet for tonight.
This was a bit on the expensive side, but I really like Reed Shepherd to go over his three-point prop. Houston doesn't run a whole lot on offense. One of their constants is running off-ball pin downs to get Reed wide open three-point looks. And to his credit, he's been on fire since the All-Star break. He's at 4 makes a night, shooting 43% from deep. His minutes are up to 32 a night, which is a season high for him. And then as an added bonus, loves the home cooking. He's up to 5.3 makes at home, shooting 46%. Good spot here for him to continue the hot streak.
Wes Chang, a pleasure as always.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And you can watch the Raptors and Rockets tonight on TSN at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. That's all for today. Marissa will be back tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Have a great day.